all your school rugby, all in one place. This is Next Gen 50.
Alright guys, welcome to Next Gen 15, and in today's video we are going to be looking at the Blue Bulls 2022 Junior Recruits. So if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to click that subscribe button as well as bell notification, and as soon as new videos are released you'll be the first to know. So the Bulls have definitely done a lot of recruitment, as they always do. A lot of quality recruitment this year as well. A lot more recruitment in general, one would feel, across the unions, obviously due to the fact that there's going to be under 19, under 20 and under 21 competitions this year. So let's get into the list. So first up, NDABAMBI. Those of you that have been following the channel and those of you that have been following schoolboy rugby know a lot about Abu. 8th man for Paul Boys, was an absolute great leader for the school as well. Very talented player, is going to add a heck of a lot of depth in terms of the loose forward department as well. So great signing over there. Then Bevan Simons, fullback from Port Rouge, can play across the back three. Very, very pacey player. Got a lot of vision, a lot of spatial awareness, searing pace. Very happy for him that he made the move over there. And someone that you feel that can definitely play up to under 20 and under 21 level as well. I think he's definitely going to be one of the breakout players. Kompion van Ludwig. Kompion obviously was a very classy flaw at Paul Boys. They tried him at inside centre for a little bit. Me personally, when I look at the pathway, not only in terms of the Bulls, but in South African rugby in general, personal opinion, guys, I think Kompion can be a great fly-off if he chooses to stay there, but I really like him as a fullback. I think he's got fantastic attributes to become an absolutely world-class fullback. And in terms of South African rugby, I see a very, very clear pathway for him in that position. But again, remember, that's just a personal opinion. I just don't want to see him shuffled across the back line and not settle on a specific position. I think someone with this much skill and this much versatility, that's always obviously a concern. Then we got Blokkies Lavanya. Blokkies was one of the standouts last year. Almost felt like he came out of nowhere, although he's been part of the EPD camps for quite some time. Definitely the premier loose head in the country last year. In our opinion, one of the best in the world, but I got outvoted in terms of the World Schools 15 over there. But no doubt he's going to have a massive season over there. There's a very clear pathway for him in terms of the senior game. And I think 2-3 years time he's definitely going to be ready to make the step up. Next up we have DRIES. DRIES was at a minor school, I think from under 14 to under 16 level if I'm not mistaken. Moved over to Monument at under 17 level. Unfortunately didn't get many games to show his true potential, but what you did see of him, you got a very physical yet very mobile lock forward. And in terms of if you take a look at the other Bulls players that they have, I really think a combination of him and someone like Reynard Ludwig is going to be a very exciting lock combination in the future. Very excited to see what they can do. Next up, Gert Steyn from Grey College. Now, Gert was a fantastic centre in his rookie year in 2020. Then in 2021, they tried him as a fullback, and he was absolutely devastating as a fullback. So here's another guy that's very versatile that can probably play across the back line. So it's just going to be very interesting to see what his core position is going to be, what sort of position Wessel du Plessis sees him settling in. But a very exciting prospect nonetheless, someone with a big future in the game. Then Gideon van Reenen, I believe he went to Worcester Gym if I'm not mistaken. And one of those success stories, guys, part of the EPDs for quite some time, highly rated player, chose to stay loyal to his school despite numerous offers. And, it just goes to show you that you don't necessarily have to go to one of the big schools to get a senior contract. If you've got the talent and people believe in you, that you can definitely go all the way. There's no reason why you can't. I think he's definitely going to be one of those players that is definitely going to make the step up this year, particularly when he's surrounded by other high-quality players. Next up, Johan Lombard. Johan's a hooker. He was at Paul Jim. Paul Jim had a very underrated front row last year. They came out of nowhere, it felt like. And really did a lot of damage to opposition front rows. They laid the foundation for that exciting backline. And Johan, from what I understand, has long been wanting to make the move up north. And I definitely think he's going to add tremendous depth to the position over there. Next up, Joshua Iras. Josh is another one of those breakout stars. Stellenberg had a very, very solid season last year, some exciting rugby. Josh is an absolute tank, guys, and the scary thing is I do believe he's going to grow a heck of a lot more in the future. He's going to be a very, very scary prospect. When I look at him, I look at something similar to Malcolm Marx, but I also see that tiger within him. Those of you that are a bit older might remember a hooker named Lucas van Biljoen who played with Agro. That's very much how I see Josh in terms of his profile, and I think he's going to be fighting very hard to make that number 2 jersey his own, and there's no reason why he couldn't. Then Jean also, a lot of people looked at him at first and was sort of wondering, this doesn't look like your quintessential prop, but you proved them wrong big time. I mean, he definitely is a strong scrummager, and he definitely showcased his ability against opposition teams. Very solid carrier as well, absolutely devastating at the breakdown, and very mobile. There are rumors that he might be looked at as potentially as a hooker, which just means that there's going to be overabundance of hookers at the Bulls if that's the case. But even if he decides to stay at loosehead, I think he could become a very mobile loosehead, and there's no reason why he can't succeed there in the future. Very exciting player, very humble young man with great work ethic. So, great signing for the Bulls. Next up, JJ Motlodi. I got footage of him late last year. I hadn't heard much of him. As a Noord-Kaap boy, I believe. Guys, I'm telling you now, keep an eye on this kid. He's going to be a breakout this year. He's going to be an absolute breakout star. He absolutely shined for Noord-Kaap. I think he's very much self-taught, and I'm not saying anything negative about the coaching staff at Noord-Kaap. I'm just saying that this guy's a prodigy. I can't put into words how much I rate him. I really see him as like a Lucanio Am type player, but the difference is that he's got a very educated boot. Can kick for poles, gets a lot of distance. So he's a left footer, which obviously is always an advantage as well. I think surrounded by Wessel du Plessis, his coach, who's a fantastic coach, as well as being surrounded by high quality players, he's going to absolutely shine this year. Just remember this guy's name because he's going to go so far in the game, and he's a relative unknown now. I felt privileged that I was able to see that video of him. Really, really special player. Next up, Johan Lowe, another guy that's part of that sort of assembly line of Grey College props. The solid, very mobile, does the work, very, very active across the pitch, sort of not a one-trick pony. Those days of just being a scrummager and that being enough is gone. You need to have all the tools available to you, and I think Johan's got those tools. Rewarded with SA under 18 selection. So highly rated within South African rugby circles, and you'll find out why when you see him play this year. Next up, Larry NKONKI. Very shocked the Sharks didn't try and hold on to Larry. To me, one of the most devastating runners, the schoolboy game has seen for the last couple of years. Every time Larry gets a ball, something exciting happens. And he's not reckless. You've got a lot of guys that are very creative with ball in hand, like to run, but their decision-making lets them down a bit. Larry has got excellent decision-making ability, very solid on defense as well, absolutely lethal runner. I think he's gonna work wonders at the Bulls, and I think you're gonna see him gonna be one of the leading try scorers in the competition. There's no doubt about it. Then Leiron Mulborough, very classy fly-off from Glenwood. It's a bit of a pity that he didn't get much of a chance to showcase his full abilities. Been part of the EPD camps for quite some time, so been on the radar of those in South African rugby. And very educated boot, very accurate, plays very well under pressure as well. So, very astute signing over there. If they want Compion and Fly-Off, I think it's going to be a very good competition between the two of them, and I think they'll bring out the best in each other. Very exciting player. Let's see what he does. Then Mawande Ndanda. someone that's also come out of the blue, so to speak, not like a big brand name player at school level, but that Maritzburg College pack last year laid the foundation for some incredible victories, guys. They played with heart, guts, and determination, and this is one of the guys at the forefront. I don't think you understand what a monster he is in the scrum, and I really think that let's just put it this way, I really do feel sorry for his opposition this year, because from what I understand, he's been training his backside off, and he's definitely going to be doing some real damage. So watch this space. Then we have Mav Willefear, another guy spoken about a heck of a lot. Mav is a giant of the game, not only in terms of like his physical attributes, but in terms of his heart. You got so many of these big guys that rely purely on their size, and almost bully-like, if you want to use that sort of terminology. But Mav is completely different. He doesn't play like he's a giant that relies on his size. He plays with absolute heart. He gives it everything that he can, goes in hard for every single tackle, plays with his heart on his sleeve. And, he spent quite a few years at Brandwag in Uitenhage in the Eastern Cape, and then made the transfer to Grey. Another victim of this, this COOF pandemic, unfortunately, that we weren't able to really appreciate exactly what he can do over a full season. I'd love to see him as part of the South African under-20 mix this year, because I think he can add tremendous depth and, can really sort of give you that South African grunt and, that physical presence that you need, especially in the latter stages of a game. So I really hope he gets a mix, and I know how hard he works, and I think the rewards are definitely going to come for him. Next up, MUNASHE DUKUSWA. He's Glenwood Old Boy. Syrian pace. We did a little reel on him if you want to take a look at our Instagram. Zimbabwean player, hopefully gets a paper sorted out, because I definitely think he could become part of the under-20 mix next year if he can qualify. Lethal finisher, knows exactly how to find that chalk, and another guy very confused that the Sharks never kept him, but the Sharks loss is the Bulls gain, obviously, and I think I'm just thinking people like him, Larry and Bevan together as a back three are just going to cause all sorts of problems this year. Then Niels Volschenk, we named Niels as our best schoolboy eighth man in the world last year, and for good reason. His general play is fantastic, positional play, awareness, work at the breakdown, carrying, everything is A-level. That's all I have to say about his ability. But it's not only his ability, it's his humility that really strikes out at me. And just a very, very hard worker, and sort of epitomizes that whole Grey College ethos of grey guts and humility and putting the team first. And I just think this guy's going to go all the way in the game. He's just got such a bright future in the game, and a tremendous athlete as well. Then Neil Leroux, we've talked about the prodigy before, named him on the bench in terms of our World Schools 15. Obviously, from the South African perspective, I was pushing for him to be a starter, but got outvoted on that, unfortunately. I still believe this guy's going to go extremely far in the game. And if you take a look at the pathway at the Bulls and Neil's God-given natural ability, I really think, a year or two's time, there's no reason why he couldn't be playing URC rugby for the Bulls. He's really, really that good, guys. Keep a close eye on him. Then next up, Regan Isaacs. Regan's one curse is his versatility, in my opinion. The guy can play anywhere in the back line. Literally any position in the back line he can play. And he can play with distinction, educated boot, a lot of pace, great step, great vision. But like I said, that's the only problem, is that will he settle on a position, or will he be used as a utility player? Because we know what happens with utility players; they often fade out, and he's just too good to, and he deserves a lot more than just to be a utility player. So I think he needs to stick with a position, and he needs to develop there, and he needs to fight for his place over there, not become a utility player. I think he's just too good for that. Then we have SIVUYISE MABECE. There's a scout in the Eastern Cape who told me about him, showed me some video on him, and he begged me not to say anything about him, because he just said, well, there's going to be a massive amount of attention on him from all the unions. And this guy wanted him at the, if the Eastern Province Kings got revived, he wanted him over there, and you can understand why. Guy's a lethal carrier of the ball, big boy, very mobile, a lot of pace for a big man, and definitely one of those modern day props that you can see going very far in the game. So now the name's out there, and guarantee you by the end of the year, those of you that follow youth rugby are definitely going to know who this kid is. Next up, Tunsville Myman. Tunsville was named as one of our 15 players to watch last year, and for good reason. He's come through the EPD system. Very, very talented young player, very, very solid in the scrum. The only thing I'd have to say is that just with the sheer quantity and quality of props available at the Bulls right now, he's going to have his work cut out for him. I think quite a few of the Gasfontein players had the knock wind out of their sails, so to speak, last year after that loss to Paul Jim, which was just a freak result. But 2022 is a new year and a new beginning, and hopefully Tunsville comes in with a new attitude and is able to showcase his God-given talent, because it's there. Then we have Werner Geldenhuys, Nelspruit boy, part of the EPD scene as well. Highly rated youngster in that sort of region. Initially he was committed to Northwest University, if I'm not mistaken, and then obviously, like I mentioned earlier, the under-19, under-20 and under-21 competitions were announced. Teams realized they needed depth, so obviously Werner got the call, signed the papers with the Bulls. Great signing for both parties. Old school prop, definitely going to add a lot of depth, but again guys, it's going to be a lot of work for the props in terms of this year's Bulls groups, because there's so much talent over there. Anyway guys, thanks a lot for taking the time to watch the video. So what do you guys think of the Bulls group for this year? Let me know in the comment section down below, and have a great week further. Cheers. Bye.